Politics on Channels Television. I'm Millicent Walker. On the news this hour, ACPN presidential candidate and former Minister of Education steps down from presidential race 3 weeks before elections. She says she will join a coalition to root the ruling APC and main opposition PDP out of prominence. The peace message from the Peace Committee, headed by former head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar, gets to Kano State as governorship candidates sign peace pact. And the Young Progressive Party YPP asked the federal government to stop playing to the gallery in matters of urgent national security by raising false alarms instead of acting on intelligence reports. Welcome everyone to Lunchtime Politics. We all woke up to the news that Dr. Ezekwesili today stepped aside from the presidential race to help build a coalition to defeat the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party in the February 16, 2019 election. In a statement issued by the spokesperson for the Ezekwesili presidential campaign organization, Mrs. Ezekwesili was quoted as saying that her decision to withdraw from the race followed extensive discussions with Nigerians at home and abroad. According to her, the action is also prompted by an examination of the country's electoral environment sequel to the 2019 presidential debate of Saturday, January the 19th, 2019. She says, quote, "This decision followed extensive consultations with leaders from various walks of life across the country over the past few days. I deem it necessary for me to focus on helping to build a veritable coalition to ensure a viable alternative to the APC-PDP in the forthcoming elections," the statement read. She says, "It is my ardent belief that this broad coalition for a viable alternative has now become more than ever before an urgent mission for and on behalf of Nigerian citizens. I have therefore chosen to lead the way in demonstrating the much-needed patriotic sacrifice for our national revival and redirection." She continues, "I wish to state that over the past 3 months, I have been in private but extended talks with other candidates to birth a coalition that would allow Nigerians to exercise their choice without feeling helplessly encumbered by the evil twins of #APC-PDP. While the deliberations continue, I never hesitated for a moment in my willingness and determination to sacrifice my candidacy in order to facilitate the emergence of the envisaged strong and viable alternative that Nigerians could identify with in our collective search for a new beginning." She continues, "My commitment to this promising political recalibration has been consistent and in consonance with my agreement at the request of candidates under the Presidential Aspirants Coming Together Pact arrangement in 2018. When I consented to supervise the internal selection process as an outside observer, passionate about building an alternative force." End of quote. Well, while all that was ongoing, we got report that the reason a press conference was called was that the party, and this is the ACPN, wanted to let the world know about the presidential aspiration of Dr. Ezekwesili, which they say in actual fact is not the truth. And coming from the ACPN, we hear one of her aides, named Iola Oluwa Aboyiji, that she only wanted to use the platform of the party, the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, to negotiate to be Nigeria's finance minister. And they continue to say that this does not deem her fit to be, or rather, she didn't deem it fit to inform the party whose mandate she was holding. And they've said a couple of other things, saying that it is on ground that the Allied Congress Party, the ACPN, is withdrawing support for her presidential campaign and endorsing the second-term bid of President Muhammadu Buhari to take Nigeria to the next level. Well, let's bring you what some have described as one of Dr. Oby Ezekwesili's most defining moments in her presidential race, the 2019 debate organized by the Broadcasting Organizations Nigeria and the NEDG. There, she called for a change of guard in Nigeria's leadership and security apparatus.
The problem with Nigeria is simply and squarely the failure of leadership. We would set up instantly a SWAT team made up of the best quality brains that we can find, because we must rapidly respond to what currently exists. When you look at the Nigerians who are poor, it is very clear that they are poor because they earn below 700 naira a day and live on it. Over 50% of them would need to improve their productivity. When people have higher productivity, they earn more. When they earn more, they lift themselves out of poverty.
Let's bring you a bit of the timeline now. Born April 28, 1963, she was former Minister of Solid Minerals in 2005. In 2006, former Minister of Education under President Obasanjo's administration. 2007-2012, was former Vice President. She was the Vice President then, World Bank. October 7th, 2018, emerged the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, ACPN presidential candidate. And today, January the 24th, 2019, it will go down in history as the female candidate to withdraw from the 2019 presidential race about 3 weeks to the polls. Well, as Nigerians continue to react to Dr. Oby Ezekwesili's pulling out from the 2019 presidential race, let's look at what this means for the forthcoming elections and Nigeria's political landscape. We have joining us in the studio Mr. Tunji Lardner. He's a political analyst. So good to have you on Lunchtime Politics.
Millicent, great to be here.
Great. What do you make of this move by Dr. Ezekwesili?
It's all getting curiouser and curiouser by the minute. It's interesting that she would first of all withdraw from the race at this time, and secondly withdraw because she wants to create a coalition, right? Essentially build a third force. I think that's the key word we should always have at the back of our minds, that there is a need, according to her and a whole bunch of other commentators and the public at large, there's a need to challenge this false dichotomy between these two political parties. And what do I mean by that? If you look at the people in both political parties, I mean, before now, there's just been a raft of people defecting from one political party to another party. So, prima facie, they're the same people. It's the same political class that just change, political garment, so to speak.
But do you see her followers following her to this coalition, seeing that her party, they're denouncing
her?
Yeah,
that's the interesting part of it, the fact that the party will denounce it. But it tells you really about the lack of political ideology that drives political participation in Nigeria. Political parties are just special purpose vehicles for winning elections. There's really no intellectual, emotional content in the way they present their views. And you can tell by just the absent of real concrete conversations about the real problems of Nigeria over this electoral cycle. Yes, the incumbent party can point to some of the work they've done, a lot of work in infrastructure, give them nod for that. Their social investment program, trader money, as controversial as it might seem. Yes, but those things are tinkering around just the causes, not the effects, not the causes, right? So everything we've seen has just been a tactical calculations. The need for a third force, a third party, is to actually challenge this narrative, this binary narrative that we only have two political parties in this country. The dissolution and the disengagement from Obi from her own political party just underscores the fact that even within the context of a third force, the lack of party ideology also afflicts them, no matter how well-intended they might be.
But from their statement,
yes,
they're saying it looks like she was planning something else, trying to be minister. I'm not even sure under which political party that would emerge at the end of the day,
yes,
but rumored finance minister that she didn't tell them.
The thing about it is that there's always this nature, there's this tradition in Nigerian politics, not to look at issues, but to personalize issues. So everything revolves around the personage of political participants, right? It's ironic that a political party will now tell you that their own political candidate who went through a primary process, who decided, okay, after a particular outing on television, decided perhaps we might want to form a new coalition so that we have a fighting chance against the two behemoths, which is actually, they're not two behemoths, it's a unitary behemoth, right? The PDP and the APC, right? It just speaks to the larger challenge of political development in Nigeria. The fact that political parties do not represent in any shape or form ideology, not even ideas, but they're just special purpose vehicles for winning elections.
So I've been reading a couple of comments, trailing this, reactions from people, social media, and a few of them who felt that they were going to vote for her are quite disappointed. And some are even asking, is it that she didn't think that she had a fighting chance?
Yeah, maybe. Well, the truth about it, if you look at the statistics of it, I think in the last elections, the APC and PDP won maybe 90, horrendous percentage of the votes, and the actual third force was about 300,000, perhaps, maybe 1.08%, if my memory serves me right. The important thing that we're seeing here is that this is actually an inflection point. So there are two things I would say to the people who follow Obi, and she does have a large, base of people who respect her work, respect her own personal integrity, is that whatever she sees she's doing is on the basis of our own understanding of what needs to change in Nigeria. It is very clear that we're at an inflection point in the longer historical narrative of Nigeria, right? That things have to change, right? And why is this so? I think earlier on today on your program, this morning, they were talking about the historical cycles of Nigeria. From the first one was 1959, then 1979, and then 1999, and now we're in 2019. Every 20 years, something significant happens, and this is where we are now. So it's important for us to step back, right, from the minutiae and just the hot air about politics and elections and looking at it not just tactically or as an event, but look at the entire process of Nigeria's evolution towards this experiment with democracy. This is an inflection point. The fact that there's the emergence of a credible third force means that there's a challenge to the old order. We have to look at this thing also within historical terms, right? I gave you the 20-year cycle, which is just one historical milestone of looking at what is actually happening. The seeds of today's challenges were sown over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 decades. The other important thing you have to realize is that as an inflection point, we're seeing the end of an old order that started from 1966 when the military took over, right, and created what I always famously call the military political complex, the military political complex. So since 1966, the military has never quite left, right? So we're at that point where Nigerians are now beginning to see that, do we begin to think about our future?
Who ended there?
Sorry?
Who ended there?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunji Lardner, political analyst, for joining us a long time.
You're very welcome.
The federal government says it is strengthening and expanding the NPAR program from the 500,000 to 1 million job opportunities to stem the tides of youth unemployment in the country. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, gave the promise in Shagamu during a town hall meeting held as part of his house-to-house campaign. He was accompanied on his tour by the Ogun All Progressives Congress governorship candidate, Mr. Dapo Abiodun, his deputy, former governor of the state's chief, Olusegun Oshoba, and 2 former deputy governorships of the state.
One of the things that we did, and which we intend to expand, is what is called NPAR. NPAR is a youth program where so far we have employed 500,000 young Nigerians, many of them graduates. We have 20,000 non-graduates. Each of the 250, about the first 250,000 of them have a tablet, such as I have here with me. In that tablet, there's a lot of training material, training for entrepreneurial skills, digital literacy skills, etc. Many of them are teaching, some are extension workers, some are public health officials. But the whole point of that program is to ensure that we're able to stem the tide of youth unemployment and train young people while they're employed by the federal government. We're expanding that to the next 1 million. We are doing 500,000 at the moment. They are paying every single month, and we're expanding that to 1 million.
Still to come on Lunchtime Politics, the People's Democratic Party remains the party to beat. This is according to the Kwara State Governor. Please join us again for more.